You see some amazing things in Disney World, but not even Walt himself could have dreamt up a photo call for a rugby league match between the USA and Lebanon.
What do you rate to America's chances on Sunday, mate?
Well, I feel very tired, but I think they have a very good chance of winning here. Odds-on favorite in my book.
We're on our honeymoon, Disney. We're going to go USA rugby.
You know, I just love America and all things American.
The two teams were in Florida for their World Cup qualifying game to decide the final place in the lineup for this year's tournament, sponsored by the Lincoln Financial Group.
We've made a lot of progress, and we can only go up, you know, not back, so we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to shocking a lot of people, just putting a lot of people in their place, you know. Tell them to shut up.
If we win that game, you know, as they say, the world opens up because it's the World Cup, and that's the biggest thing in rugby league outside, obviously, the local domestic competition. So we're ready.
The venue for the Eliminator was Disney's Wide World of Sports complex, normally the spring training home of the Harlem Globetrotters. But this time, rugby league was the attraction. Among the crowd, some curious rugby league followers from Britain.
The concept, I think, is great. I think it's brilliant, you know, these emerging countries like they are. Especially Lebanon, I didn't even know they played rugby league, to be honest, until last Monday.
I don't think Lebanon know they play rugby league.
No, I don't think they did, no.
I don't know a great deal about Lebanon, but I understand there's a lot of Australians in there, so it should be a good game.
What about the USA?
They've got a nice kit, so they should do okay. Always important.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave. Go team. Yes, we're in the land where dreams and wishes can come true, so they say. But for the USA and Lebanon, it's got nothing to do with Minnie, Mickey and their Magic Kingdom. It's all about their own efforts in the next 80 minutes. The USA fielded a trio of Super League players, including St Helens' very own Tower of Terror, Vila Matautia, who made his presence felt all right. This hit earning him a trip to the sin bin. The Lebanese side was made up of players from Australia's big immigrant community, and they had more class, especially in Hazem El Masri of Canterbury Bulldogs, whose wizardry did the Magic Kingdom proud, as the Lebanon ended the American dream of a World Cup place.
There's a lot of people in Sydney who are Lebanese or Lebanese origin, and they're very proud of their people. And the last 20 years, say with war, etc., in the country hasn't been very good publicity, so basically we carried a little bit out on our shoulders, and you know, as again, we do it for our parents and for ourselves as well.
You're a fairly fiery race. Is there a fair chance there'll be World Cup fever in Lebanon come October 2000?
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Everybody wanted USA, that was a dream ticket, I suppose, but Lebanon were an outstanding side. They're going to make that group in Wales very, very interesting, and I know they've got ambitions of going all the way to the semi-final, and good luck to them, some very talented players in there. The Americans have experienced rugby league for the first time at international level, and that's been absolutely superb. You've seen tonight the crowd, they've got behind it, they've liked the big hits, and also it's opened some commercial doors for rugby league. We've got Disney now as partners. That's an excellent coup for the Rugby League World Cup. We've also got other sponsors coming in. Lincoln Financial Group have done a great job in US and in the UK, but we've got other people coming in also, and let me tell you, we'll be coming back here again with another big event very, very soon.
So the Magic Kingdom couldn't do the trick for the United States. They have to settle for a place in the Emerging Nations contest, while Lebanon take their place in the World Cup finals. And once the Super League's done and...
Hey, the Don sent his apologies, but he was taking care of business and couldn't make the family gathering at the Villa Nostra. But the rest of the boys were there to discuss who was gonna take out who in the autumn. So he sent Johnny the Lens and Notebook Billy along.
An Italian restaurant in Rochdale was the venue for the launch of the Emerging Nations contest, which will feature the Italians, USA, Canada, Morocco, Japan, and a Great Britain and Ireland team fielded by Bala, who just happened to be co-hosting the event.
Wouldn't it be embarrassing to win your own tournament?
It's an embarrassment that we could probably cope with, but I mean, we're not underestimating the opposition in any way, shape or form. We've recently adopted a management team of Gordon, Rob and Vinnie Webb, two individuals of the highest calibre, and they've really got the work cut out to get a winning team together. But I'm sure we can do it, and I'm sure we can overcome probably one of the sternest tasks that we've faced to date.
The USA narrowly failed to make the main World Cup, so they have to settle for the Emerging Nations, which runs from November the 13th to the 20th. The American side could be one of the strongest, with the likes of Sheffield Eagles' Marcus Vasilakopoulos and London Broncos pair Steele Retchless and Shane Millard.
I think it's going to be good for the game. Obviously, the development stages of the game with the countries that are in it, you know, it's obviously going to be get rugby league on a wider scale, and it's going to be really good. I think different cultures come together, and I'm really looking forward to it.
One of the highlights of the tournament is bound to be USA versus Canada at Oxford on the opening day.
Doesn't matter what sport it is, USA against Canada is always tasty, isn't it?
It's good, the American battle. Yeah, it'll be fun, I can just imagine the changing room now. You can hear them and us, okay boys, it's all about that. It'll be all pumped up. And but you know, at the end of the day, that's kind of the fun too, I think, between the, just we're so loud, aren't we?
Italy too have some experience, like Greg Florimo of Halifax, who could be joined by the likes of London's Frank Napoli and Hull's Tony Grimaldi.
Yeah, there are a few going around. I think there's a couple in the Sydney comp as well. Dean Skiffolitti, David Penner. I think there's a restriction on the amount of professional players you're allowed in your outfit, but you know, if we can pull those guys together, we'd be a strong side.
The Cook Islands won the last Emerging Nations competition, beating the Irish in the final in 1995. They're both playing in this year's main World Cup competition, so a new name could emerge this November.
Well, now to our...
The Welsh Rugby League squad enter the Millennium Stadium, and another little bit of sports history is made. The former Cardiff Arms Park has long been the home of Welsh Rugby Union, but when Wales Rugby League team walk out here against New Zealand in November, it'll feel just as much like home. It's a moment Wales captain Iestyn Harris can't wait for.
Obviously we like more formation, we're very strong in some parts, and other positions we're a little bit weaker, but you know, we believe we've got the side to get through to the quarterfinals, and then we'll take it each game as it comes, but we're certainly looking forward to it.
The anticipation is shared by former Wales player Jonathan Davies, who was impressed by the squad name this week.
Yeah, they've got a few strange names there, but the Old Faithfuls, of course, and you know, they've got Iestyn, and he will be the jewel in the crown, of course, but if they can, you know, build a platform for him to just display his talents. You've got Lee Briers, and I think Neil Cowie he just keeps on going on, and I think he's playing better this year than I've ever seen him play.
And playing here, it's going to be magnificent, isn't it? It's lovely and cosy and close to the ground.
That's the thing, you know, the location is fantastic. It's right in the city centre, so the atmosphere is brilliant, and everyone's on top of you, and hopefully, you know, we'll get a great response on that Sunday. It's a double header, and you know, the more children we can get in, if we can get like the school kids in, it will just generate a magnificent atmosphere.
What about Wales' chances realistically? Have you had to think about that?
I think you've got to look at the Australians. You know, seen them play this year over there. They've got absolutely fantastic players, and you know, I think Darren Lockyer is the player of the year this year. And New Zealand, you know, they had their backside kicked a little bit with the Australians, but then you've got and England, of course, and those three are the top three. But you've got Ireland, Scotland, Samoa, Lebanon. Maybe they're going to be difficult, and then Wales. And if we can get through to the quarterfinals, we've got a favourable draw. And then, you know, we could make the semi-finals, and if they do that, it'll be a magnificent achievement. But you know, then beyond that, it's a big ask.
Stepping onto the turf brought back some poignant memories for coach Clive Griffiths, who scored his last try for Wales Rugby Union here in 1979 before signing for Saints.
It was a very memorable moment, and you know, coming out today, you know, it is very nostalgic, and you can see the extra step in the boys, spring in the boys' step when they run out there today. There is something about it, there's an aura about the place, and it's known throughout world rugby, and it's steeped in tradition and history. So, you know, we're going to be part of that on November the 5th, and it's been a long time coming.
Right, the Welsh squad for the forthcoming Rugby League World Cup is as follows: Paul Aitchison, St Helens, Lee Briers, Warrington Wolves.
He's had one or two selection headaches ahead of this week's squad announcement, but with men like Harris, Lee Briers, Neil Cowie and Kieran Cunningham in the team, he and team manager Mike Nicholas are convinced they can do a good job for Wales.
These are a new bunch of lads, younger lads, more steeped in rugby league. Obviously, they're more of an ancestral feel about them, but I mean, we're just going to have to run with it, and we feel that we'll acquit ourselves. Obviously, if we'd still had the other players available, the likes of Scott Quinnell and Scott Gibbs and Alan Bateman, you know, Jonathan, we'd be an even more formidable outfit. But you know, we're reasonably happy with it.
The arrival of some of the Wales Rugby Union team at the training session to pass on their best wishes marked just how far the two codes have come over the last few years, and just how much Cardiff is looking forward to the World Cup. For a city steeped in rugby, there's a real sense of anticipation here in Cardiff. They're determined to build on the successes of 1995. The Welsh accents may not be quite as strong as they were back then, but you can be guaranteed the passion will be.
Meet the Tower of Scotland, 6'5" Wayne MacDonald, a member of the Scottish Party for the Lincoln Financial Group World Cup. MacDonald, who's just joined St Helens, is one of Sean McRae's 24-strong squad, which includes 18 Super League representatives, 1 from the NFP and 5 Australian-based players.
We've not raved about it, you know, as a team and things like that, like other teams have, and we're just going to go in there. We'll go in with the underdogs title. That's fine. You know, it's going to be a competitive side, and you know, give us all we can give.
And is it going to be a side motivated by the desire to play for Scotland, or are you, as some people say, a bunch of mercenaries?
No, I think there's a certain desire. Like I say, you know, it's when you pull on that shirt, there'll be desire to play there. You know, I don't know if it's about mercenaries, but maybe somehow. But yeah, you know, it's that desire once the old you know, shirt goes on again. Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
McRae's men are in the same group as Ireland, Samoa and the New Zealand Maoris, and they're expected to be the also-rans.
The team's very competitive, or the squad is very competitive, I should say. I think very strong. I think there's a lot of utility value, and I think that's very important going into a competition where you've got to play 3 games in 7 days. The attrition rate will no doubt be high, and that's something I think that every team's going to have to cope with.
The major surprise in the Scottish squad is the inclusion of Australia's Tim Brasher, a World Cup winner in 1995. But it's touch and go whether the former Kangaroo will be available to play for the land of his ancestors, as he recently had a shoulder operation.
Now, I've got to say that reading between the lines and talking to Tim very, very recently, it's not looking so good that he will be able to play, but he hasn't given up hope yet. I would hope maybe in another few days, you know, we could make an announcement as to which way that's going to go.
The Scots will not be short of the fighting qualities that characterise all their sports teams, with Castleford Tigers captain Adrian Vowles in their lineup, along with the likes of Dave Maiden of Hull and Huddersfield's Danny Russell. Russell, the Scottish captain, has probably played as close to Scotland as any of the team. He was with Carlisle, but even though there's not a native-born Scot in the side, they won't be short on patriotism.
I think these guys have an understanding of where their past is and the past of their family tree, and I think that they're delighted that they've got that opportunity to represent Scotland in a World Cup, and this is Scotland's inaugural start in the major tournament. They've been in the emerging nations before, and come the end of October, these guys will pull on the shirt with great pride and we'll be ready to go.
Would you put your shirt on these guys in the World Cup? Well, the tournament organisers have. Some of Super League's top players came together in Manchester to fly the flag for the World Cup by modelling the home nation's new shirts, helped by actress Samantha Janus.
I'd like England to do it. I'd like Australia not to do it, and I'd kind of like Wales to do it because I learned how to play rugby in Wales. Hello, Jonathan Davies. He's a nice man.
The socks are pretty loud.
Have you seen these socks? Seen these socks? They are loud, aren't they?
Yeah. We might be playing night games, so we'll have to turn the lights on. I know the first one they designed didn't have the dragon on, and we refused to wear it, so we wanted the dragon on there, so it's on there now, and I think it's great.
Not too bad. I think it should have probably done with a bit more green in, don't you?
It's going to inspire you to great things, is it?
Yeah, also it's got the cross on, you know, and it's got stuff like so
if it does its job, then I'll be happy.
There's less than 4 weeks to go before the Lincoln Financial Group World Cup kicks off, and the organisers are using every vehicle to get the message across.
Well, this is one of 35 black cabs you can see round Manchester carrying the World Cup message. Where do you want to go, girls? Here we go. Brum, 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 brum.
America. It's a world away from the pressures of everyday life and a welcome escape from miserable English weather for the England Rugby League World Cup squad.
I think the best bit's looking at the people who are really scared. Certain people just make you laugh looking at them, especially before they get on the ride.
Comes gets used to that every week in Super League, so not that tough.
From roller coaster thrills to big game on safari at the Animal Kingdom, though the other big game against the Aussies isn't far from the players' thoughts.
Just to be around these players at the moment, socialising with them out in the bush at the moment, going on the rides, it's just a great feeling, and I really feel that we're coming together as a unit now, and we're looking like a side.
It's a hard life, isn't it?
Oh, it's tough. Wish I were back in England. Don't like it really.
It's not all play though. The squad is here to prepare for the World Cup and the opening clash against Australia in particular.
So I've not done one with the training before, but on the Wednesday we came away, we spent 2 hours in the rain in Huddersfield, and there was probably 3 inches of mud on the field we trained on. Come out here and you can see the facilities we've got, the dry grounds, beautiful weather, no problems, you know, with rain or wind. Plus, because we're in a closed environment, we're totally away from everything else. We can just focus on the main goal, which is rugby league.
And there's a bit of a treat for league fans in Florida on holiday. England versus the US of A.
It's an England score!
Final score, 110-0.
I think they've done a professional job. I don't think America really offered much. They didn't do too bad, they didn't give up. Be tough against the Australians in the World Cup. They didn't do too bad tonight.
Well, I thought it was an impressive performance, but obviously the opposition wasn't that good, so it's a bit hard to gauge exactly how they're going to do against Australia next Saturday.
Then it's time to go home. Twickenham awaits.
Twickenham certainly does await.
It was the French who first proposed the idea of a Rugby League World Cup, and they hosted the inaugural tournament in 1954. They made the final that year, and again in 1968. But in the year 2000, well, it'll be a tall order for them to even qualify from Group 3. So the pressure is on French coach Gilles Dumas and his side to begin the tournament with victory over PNG. World and European soccer champions, Olympic basketball finalists. French sport is looking strong, and now the baton is passed to the Trézistes.
Of course, we have to make a good result, and we have to win on Saturday because it's in Paris, and we need to win in Paris because we know that many medias will come to the game, and we need to speak about Rugby League in France, and we need to win to be in quarter-final.
But PNG could present a tough challenge, especially as they have a police inspector on their case. He's Bob Bennett, brother of Brisbane coach Wayne Bennett, and he's confident his team, which includes NRL stars Adrian Lam and Marcus Bai, could be a surprise package in the World Cup.
I think we're a pretty good show. I mean, both Tonga and France concern me a bit, but you know, we're not worried about their games. We're worried about ours, and we've worked on some good aspects of our games, and we think we're going to go pretty well. Yeah, if things go the way we want them to go, we'll go really well.
The other South Sea challenge in Group 3 comes from Tonga. The Tongans will bring some colour to the tournament, and they could bring a lot more in the way of flair and ferocity, which makes them a side to look out for.
The goal is to win a game, and I'm really hoping that one is the first one against South Africa, so that's our short-term goal. Obviously we expect and hope to win a place into the quarter-finals, and if we can achieve that, who knows what can happen.
And will the other Group 3 sides feast on the South African Rhinos? They're a green team with a lot of raw skill from their rugby union contingent, but they'll be looking to their captain for rugby league experience. The South Africans have been in the medieval city of Albi to prepare for the World Cup.
These guys are tough characters, and while they might be getting beaten in games, they will still stick it out and stick it out and stick it out to the end. So if it comes to percentages, that's where I want them to be. I want them to stick it out to the last second of the game and not give up.
Jamie, a lot of people have you down as the whipping boys of this group, so what is there to suggest it's going to be any different?
I think what's happened so far the last 5 weeks I've been in South Africa is that we've improved 100% what we were. We're not going to be sensational and probably win the World Cup, but I think we're definitely going to shock a few people.
Well, the teams have now swapped the sunshine and gentle pace of southern France for the excitement and bustle of Paris. The World Cup is about to kick off on the other side of the Channel with a Group 3 double-header on Saturday, France versus Papua New Guinea and Tonga versus South Africa, here at the Charlotte Stadium.
The World Cup off at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon.
The giant cranes of the Holland and Wolff shipyard. They dominate the skyline of this hustling, bustling city they call Belfast. It's a city that loves its nightlife and loves its sport just as much, and very soon is going to be loving rugby league, World Cup style. And if you don't believe me, let's go and check on the big screen.
Yes, there's no escaping rugby league in this city, and you wouldn't want to. In the heart of Belfast, the Irish team have been doing their bit to spread the message, and a bit of shaving foam. This was a promotion for men's beauty products.
That looks very relaxing.
Yes, it's quite good, especially leading up to the big game on Saturday. It opens up the capillaries around your eyes, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, and it's very nice.
Reduces the stress and the tension.
Yes.
They won't be expecting a soft touch from the Samoans, though, and their preparations have been thorough.
Everyone's going to judge us on our first game, so we know that we've got to come up with a good, strong showing, as do England know as well. But like, the pressure's really is off us, and it's on England. Like, England are the top of the home nations, and good luck to them. But we'll just sit there in the background and we'll play our games as they come, and hopefully we'll do well.
The Samoans stepped off the plane into Belfast City Airport, knowing they'll be facing an island side full of passion for the cause.
They are the pool favourites. That's good for us. I mean, we'll be the quiet achievers and do our best. I think we'll be pretty physical and counter up front, but we'll just have to weather the storm and see how we come out of it at the end of the game.
I think they're pretty experienced side and some great players. Obviously, there's Terry O'Connor and Barry McDermott who are going to lead the way for their forwards. I think Ryan Sheridan and Tommy May will be fantastic for their backline, so there's plenty for us to look out for. But on the other side, there's plenty of them to watch out for us too.
There you go.
The Irish do have a secret weapon, though, the drawing skills of Terry O'Connor, though not everyone's a fan.
Personally, I don't think it's funny. There's been no team spirit whatsoever in this camp, and things like this upset me because I'm a very serious person. But what can I say? I'm gutted. I'm going home. That's it, Terry. You've done with me, captain. And I was saying you were a good captain. You're out of order. That's it. I'm going.
Noah and Ireland.
Des Carolan shortly to reply with well, a stirring anthem there for Ireland, and they certainly looked ready for it. It may be the first World Cup for the Irish, but certainly the fans getting right behind them here. No lack of big match experience though in that Samoan side. Pulitzer, Solomona and Peterson all used to top quality rugby down under in Australia. 8 new caps in the Irish side, and coach Steve O'Neill selected a rough, tough pack to counteract the Samoan 6. Terry O'Connor and Chris Joynt leading the way up front, and if they can get the upper hand, look out for Tommy Martin and Steve Prescott directing operations behind. And just getting ready for the Samoan war cry, Toa Samoa, the Warriors of Samoa. Just 14 years in Rugby League Samoa. And that man, Willie Poaching, the skipper, a very, very experienced player with Wakefield Trinity. A hooker in the '95 World Cup, and prop forward, skipper for Ireland. Wigan prop in outstanding form this year for Wigan, Terry O'Connor. Referee from Australia, Tim Mander, one of the top whistlers down under, ready to get the Lincoln Financial Group World Cup underway. 31 matches, 29 different venues, and the final at Old Trafford on Saturday, November the 25th. Plenty of rugby to come, plenty to enjoy, and I think, Jonathan,
okay, don't go early. Wait for the whistle.
Yeah. Still the pressure on Samoa. Probably Ireland looking for the killer try here now. Oh, another good run from McDermott. Ireland going in at the corner, I think, yes! Good movement of the ball there. Carney delighted the Irishman. The former Gaelic footballer plucked from nowhere with the Dublin Blues amateur side. And now a try scorer.
Yeah, I think this try was created by the speed of the play of the ball from Barry McDermott. Now gets very fortunate to pick the ball up, but watch him, bang, off the step, goes straight, nearly goes for the line, drags a couple of defenders in. That is tremendous play of the ball, and Campion has a quick pass and there's a clear overlap. It's just the pace of the play of the ball. They couldn't reorganise, and you can see they're all bunched. Watch them, they're all bunched. There's 1, 2, 3. They're walking back on the right hand side. They're coming close. That's it, 2 to 1, simple passing, just tremendous play of the ball, Barry McDermott.
I think it's as we were saying, Jonathan, it needed something to suck in those Samoan forwards. Not necessarily the acting half back, but Barry McDermott, and it did the trick, didn't it, out wide?
Yeah, Like, you know, it is a bit of variety that's needed, and you know, if you can make the hard yardage, you know, it's always tougher to defend around the play of the ball and around and outside, because you haven't got time to get back and defend because you're on the back foot.
And would you believe it, after all the bad weather we've had, Prescott having a little trouble with the sun and the conversion attempt. No goal then for Steve Prescott, but Ireland quite content with that at 22 points to 10. Steve Prescott already with 3 goals to his credit, looking for a 4th. Not the easiest of conditions here at Windsor Park, but he does have the wind behind him in the second half.
Yeah, that's over.
And he makes good use of it.
That is you know, quite an easy kick for a goal kicker, right? You know, you just got to aim it, and the wind will carry it. It's not a great distance in front of the post, so you should think that an international quality goal kicker should kick those points.
Well, you've got to bear with me with goal kicking, Jonathan. They only ever had 1 attempt in 11 seasons, and hit the corner flag.
Yeah, you just had your head down on your backside up most of the time, right? So.
We used to do all the work for you, lads. So, Ireland now using the pack to do all the work, but I'm pretty sure they'll move that ball out wide, because that is where they're finding weaknesses in this Samoan lineup. Lawless then to Martin. Good ball to Chris Joynt. Joynt now then, has he got the speed to break away? He's on his own. Good tackle. Good solid tackle there from Milford. Ireland then on the attack. They should spread it here now. Martin's doing that. Sheridan, even longer pass. Picked up well there by Withers. Still Samoa backpedaling. Ricketson. Carney. Good tackle. Good solid tackle there on the 5th tackle. The ball again with Sheridan. Oh, that's tricky. Oh, is Steve Prescott in there? I think he is. Ryan Sheridan, I think, kicked that ball deliberately at the upright, and Prescott read it well. Good try for the Irish fullback.
Well, Milford is livid, the Samoan fullback. He thought he had the touch and he was going to the video referee, and he was confident that he had a hand to it. So it'll be interesting to see what the replay. There you go. They do practice this. They try and hit the post off a deflection. Ball comes back. Yep, that was mine. Milford got the ball done. I would say that wasn't a try, and maybe Manda's got it wrong.
Well, he gave the try immediately, didn't he? He never called for the video referee. We've got Stephen Haig on hand here to adjudicate.
Yep, that should have gone to the video referee without a shadow of a doubt. I think he did get his hand to it, but...
So, Steve Prescott with the kick. Already equalled the record number of points scored by an Irishman. 12 by Ian Heron against Wales in '99. Can he break the record with this and make it 14? He does. So, Prescott the try scorer, Prescott the goal scorer, and Prescott the record breaker. Pulatur, come on, braving the elements, and a good run there from the acting half-back position. Is he coming off? Yes, I think it is. Has he scored, Beetham, I think? Yes, Monty Beetham taking advantage of some slack covering around the play of the ball there, and Mr. Manda just laughing off complaints from the Irish. Good try, and he's worked hard as that Samoan hooker.
Yeah, certainly been a nuisance to the Irish, and you know, he's deserved. He has worked hard, Monty Beetham, from the acting half-back.
He doesn't use the video referee too much, does he?
Well, he was the closest guy in the whole ground, so, you know, if he didn't see it, nobody saw it.
Well, we'll probably have another look, but it's 30 points to 16 for Ireland.
I think he definitely loses it, but does it regather it before he puts it to the ground? Here he goes, hang on, bang. Goes well, sees only one marker there. Barnhill comes in, stares at a Prescott as well, but... Oh, he lost that. And look, he can't get any closer to him, Manda, he's right by the post.
For a quarter-final place. They'll certainly be in good hand for their game against Scotland at Tolka Park in Dublin on Wednesday night. Perhaps a chance or two for Steve O'Neill to bring one or two more players into the squad. There it is, the hooter, it's all over. The Lincoln World Cup well and truly launched there, and the win for Ireland. It's been wet, it's been windy, but those fans who braved the elements have enjoyed it. 30 points to 16, and the right result.
Yeah, thoroughly deserved. After settling down, you know, in the second half, there's only going to be one winner, and I felt that you know, the conditions dictated the style of the game, and it was a game of two halves. And Ireland, with their half-backs, dominated after the forwards had really, you know, set the platform for them. They did struggle at the start, and you know, that's expected because they haven't played together, and they've just been thrown together, and you know, they'll be happy with that. They're in a tough group, as I said. I know they play Scotland, they want to get a result there, and I think the crunch match could be against the New Zealand Maoris.
Well, it is, it's certainly a tough group, but I think they're quite relieved to get this win under their belts. It's 2 points, it puts them at the top of that league, and Brian Carney, they're delighted to be on a winning Irish side. Just look at the grin.
And it's World Cup 2000, England against Australia. The England dressing room, they have back Bryce, Naylor, Senior, and Chev Walker, the three-quarters, Tony Smith and Sean Long at half-back. And the forwards, Harvey Howard, Rowley, Fielden, Morley, Forshaw and Farrell, the skipper, at loose forward. And the substitutes, Wellens, Sinfield, Fleary and Anderson. The coach is John Keir. Australia, familiar names if you watch our coverage of the NRL. Darren Lockyer at fullback, Matt Rogers, Ryan Girdler, Matthew Gidley, Wendell Saylor. Brad Fittler is the captain, and Brett Kimorley keeps his place at scrum half. The forwards, Shane Webke, Andrew Johns. They say he's the best scrum half in the world. He's playing tonight at hooker. Robbie Kearns completes the front row. Gordon Tallis, Brian Fletcher and Scott Hill. And their substitutes, Adam McDougall, Jason Croker, Darren Britt and Jason Stevens. And the coach is Chris Anderson.
Oh, the Aussies join in! Kicking out England. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing advance Australia fair.
Tim Chandler with the Australians' national anthem. And it's Land of Hope and Glory for England. Land of hope and glory, mother of the free. How shall we extol thee, one of ever be? Wider still and wider, may our bounds stir the blood, nothing will. Night for the referee, David Pakiato from New Zealand. In touch with the sidelines, we have the video referee in operation, of course, during the World Cup. Massive screen here at Twickenham tonight, way up in the heavens on the right-hand side of this stadium.
Here we go.
So we're ready. The World Cup's about to come alive. Ireland did the home nations proud this afternoon. England now expects, and England will have first use of the football. Here we go. And Stuart Fielden is greeted by fearsome Australian defence.
Pretty solid.
Jason Croker, the handling error count against Australia is 11-8. Oh, Kimorley has stepped away. Kimorley's on the charge. Oh, Tallis was hauled back. This should be a penalty to Australia. He's allowed play on because this is McDougall. He's gone inside them, and McDougall will score. McDougall scores. The referee allowed the play on. Now then, what's he looking for here?
Checking. Picked it up cleanly. Yep.
But it looked like a penalty to the Australians, but the referee appeared to allow the play to continue and the advantage, and Adam McDougall took full advantage of the advantage. Is now the Blonderins double act for the Aussies, and Rogers just hammers the ball over the top of the bar, and Australia increase their lead. It's 16 points to 2, the gap now 14.
Good play though, they always play to the whistle. Kimorley is having an outstanding game. Not only his positional sense, but his kicking game has been outstanding. Good work from McDougall. Step off the left foot. Looking very tired, England. They were struggling, you saw Forshaw definitely interfered with Tallis. Good refereeing though, he allowed the advantage. Unfortunately for England, it allowed Australia to go further and further away.
At the second attempt. Here's Saylor again.
And our defence has been pretty solid at times as well.
I wonder how this will be written up in the papers tomorrow, Steve-O. Wonder how the reporters view this as Fittler heads off on another run. A lovely ankle tap. That was a great ankle tap by Naylor. Remember, he's carrying an ankle injury. McDougall gives it to Tallis inside. This is the last. Australia are running it. It's with Tallis. They've got to tackle it. They don't. He offloads to Lockyer. He then offloads to Stevens. Wide it goes from Hill. Gidley. This is Saylor. This is going to be a try for Australia, and it is out wide. Wendell Saylor's second of the match at Twickenham. Try given. And England really don't deserve that. But the Australian build-up work and approach, and the fact that they held off Gordon Tallis was absolutely fatal. Forward again, round the man and picked up brilliantly. Half forward. Referee, I think, has said that was forward. That's the end of it. The siren will sound. Chris Anderson's men have begun World Cup 2000 with victory by 20 points. And I wonder whether David Howes and John Keir privately will be happy enough with the winning margin being restricted to 20 points, because they will believe, I think, at the end of this, that there is something to build on for the tournament that lies ahead. Everyone was tipping a 50-40 point defeat for England. It hasn't come. Wendell Saylor grabbed 2 tries, but there is certainly something there for both of the coaches, Chris Anderson and John Keir, to build on during the course of the next month as we weave our way towards Old Trafford and that grand final of World Cup 2000 on November the 25th.
A couple of tries, Gidley and McDougall. Andy Farrell, the only points to show, the kick from Farrell's boot, but 246 tackles by England. Dear me, they have run their blood to water for the cause.
Very important because
we play at home in France, and it's for the development in France because since 4 years we improved now in our championship, and some of the players played in England, so it's important for us to show now and to bring some television too. It's very, very important to improve our rugby in France.
I think we're a pretty good show. I mean, both Tonga and France concern me a bit, but you know, we're not worried about their games. We're worried about ours, and we've worked on some really some good aspects of our games, and we think we're going to go pretty well. Yeah, if things go the way we want them to go, we'll go really well.
It's going to be very hard because it's a team very strong too, with some key men like Adrian Lam and Stanley Jean too. But like all the competition, the first game is very, very important to win for the rest of the game and the competition.
So things all set then for a battle in Paris. Let's have a look at the team lineup for France. We have Bonke, Dekishi, Cassin, Dulac and Banaus, Frazino and Davici in the halves. Davici, of course, your captain. And then we have the forward pack up front, Hakish, Wolf and Tuxedo, Guise and Talek in the second row with Jean-Pi at the back of the scrum. And the substitutes for the French, El Kalouki, Carrasco, Sands and Despin, and coached by Gilles Dumas. Their opponents, Papua New Guinea, here's their lineup. Buko, Wilshire, alias Songoro, and Marcus Bai on the other wing. In the halves, Stanley Jean and Adrian Lam, who is captain. The Kumuls forward pack, up front, Carl and Sobert in the front row, Maram at hooker. In the second row, Nawi and Mamando, and Tom O'Reilly at loose forward. The substitutes for the Kumuls, Mom, Krawanti, Norman and Mondo, and coach Bob Bennett. Well, let's see how things unfolded. The first match at Charlotte Stadium in Paris. Your commentators Stuart Pike and Tony Ray. Oh, what a marvellous comeback there for the Kumuls, inspired by Stanley Jean. They've won that match 23 points to 20 over France. And 4 Papua New Guinea tries through Bai, Krawanti, Buko and Lam. Buko with 1 goal, Wilshire with 2 goals and 1 drop goal from Adrian Lam. For France, 2 a try there for Banaus, Dakish with a try and Hashishi with a brace, and Bonque with 2 goals. 23 points to 20. What a marvellous comeback. Group 3, let's have a look how they line up. For Tonga, their backs, Kolai, Moala, Vaikona, Wolfgram and Kafusi. In the halves, Howlett and Wolfgram. And the forward pack up front, Martin Marcella, their skipper, with Taliti Leavar in the front row, Mann at hooker in the second row, Mason and Lomu, and Dwayne Mann at the back of the scrum. The subs for Tonga, Fizi Ayali, Manu, Lomu and Kite, and coached by Murray Hurst. South African squad, here it looks for you. The backline, O'Shea, Best, Barnard, Johnson, Dames in the halves, Breitenbach and Jamie Bloom is at halfback and is captain. The forward pack up front, Bozien and Powell. Sean Skelton slots into hooker. In the second row, Rutkinson and De Villiers, and Erasmus at loose forward. The substitutes, Jennings, Nell, Mulder and Cloete, and coached by Paul Matete. Let's see how all the action unfolded. The second match in Paris at Charlotte Stadium. Your commentator, Rod Studd.
Willie Mason for Tonga, approaching that South Africa 20-metre area. And the Tongas that's Moala, the teenage star of the Melbourne Storm, and this is now Greg Wolfgram. And Tonga are now within 20 metres or less, 10 metres of the South African line. Moving the ball to that left-hand side. Again, Vaikona involved once more. And that's going to be the first try of the afternoon. Tavita Vaikona's got it. First try of the afternoon, Tonga. And no surprise that they've gone into this early lead. That was Martin Marcella, the Tongan captain, making the initial burst. Good ball inside here, and this is Willie Mason, and that's another try for Tonga. Dwayne Mann, 10-0 Tonga. Dwayne Mann on the shoulder to go over. The South Africans with their first real chance to
see what they can put together in terms of a move with ball in hand. They're on familiar territory, most of these players. They were touring France in 1997, and although they lost all 3 games, they weren't completely humiliated by the French. Here's Skelton once more. Busy little hooker, dangerous runner. Rutgerson, literally their only big hitter, the man from the Canberra Raiders, and he's not a permanent fixture in their side by any stretch. Now here's Skelton going for the line for South Africa. Ball comes back, and that's a try, and the South Africans will be delighted with that. Conrad Breitenbach has got the try. One of the converts from Rugby Union. Here's a break again. Vicona galloping away. He's through one half-hearted tackle. Davita Vicona will go all the way here for his second try of the afternoon, the Bradford Bull star. Vicona, who averages a try every 2 games for the Bulls, makes it 2 in 1 here this afternoon. Willie Wolfgram, normally a hooker playing at scrum half, and they don't fancy the easy 2. They want to go for the more difficult 6. Mind you, they're making it look fairly easy as they sigh through again. A good tackle comes in from Sean Skelton, and it had to be 2. But you sense the try is imminent. Liavar crashes over. Not only was it imminent, it was immediate. The 4th Tongan try. The tap taken quickly. A burrowing run, almost got there. And they will get there this time. They'll enjoy that one. Marty Masala. Here come the Tongans again, and this time Pepita Moala's got a little bit of space, and this boy is quick, very, very quick. Outstripped the cover effortlessly once he'd got free. There was no doubt that a 4-pointer was coming. Esau Mans at dummy half. He's been playing in the national side for Tonga for 8 years now, the longest serving player. Some good handling here from the Tongans. And Esau Man will score. Well, they worked it well, there was some neat handling. And Esau Man was the man in the right place at the right time. Well, clean through here, and Tonga started to run riot. They almost beat New Zealand in '95. They drew with Papua New Guinea after being 20-0 up at one point, but had to settle for a draw, 28 points apiece. So they've already scored more points in this match than any other World Cup game. And they're threatening to hit 50 here. There goes Vicona. That's a hat-trick for Davita Vicona. Plenty for him to celebrate tonight. They're still very much learning the game, the South Africans. They will have a 12-team Premier League in place by Christmas, and over 13,000 children are now playing rugby league, but this is still very much part of the learning process, and they're being taught a harsh lesson here by the Tongans. Kafusi, inches short. Desperate tackle by Brian Best, who knows more about try scoring than try saving. But you feel he's just delaying the inevitable. Paul Colley is wrestled down. And an easy try from Wolfgram's ball. Nelson Lomu. So easy for Tonga. This is the final tackle. They're running it. Tonga squirming out of a couple of challenges. That time was Willie Manu, and he's done well to create a try. Good score. Willie Wolfgram. And if they can add the extras to that try from the scrum half, Tonga will have hit South Africa for 50. Clinging on is Hercules Erasmus. One of 3 men who didn't start the game against Wales in that friendly. That's a good ball, it's a try. Leon Barnard, and South Africa do get to double figures for the first time in a World Cup game. Next up for Murray Hurst's side, the French on Wednesday, and then Papua New Guinea the following Monday. If they could beat the French, certainly been pole position in Group 3, for which they did start favourites. This game has really told us little about their credentials to reach the quarter-finals and beyond. If they did win the group, they'd probably avoid New Zealand if they were runners-up. They'd face the Kiwis again. They lost to a last-minute Matthew Ridge goal, drop goal to them in 1995. And here's try number 11. Jackson Kafusi waltzing his way through, swivel of the hips, and he was gone. Really was as simple as that. Finishing reasonably strongly here, South Africa. You might say the Tongans have eased off just a little, but South Africa really have stepped on the gas in these last few minutes, and that's a good break by the big prop forward, Eugene Powell. And Brian Best, who scored 2 against Wales, will get one here in the World Cup. Well, that's a collector's item, a heel against the head. Goodness knows how that happened. Don't think they'll be too happy with that in the South African camp, and it's going to cost them 4 points here. Dwayne Mann touches down. He gets his second. Here come the Tongans once more, looking to finish with a flourish. Trying to offload again was Nelson Lomo. He couldn't do so. Paul Colloy. Only 4 players who started the game haven't scored a try. He's one of them, and here goes the rampaging figure of Willie Mason. Glides in, and he enjoyed it. Well, that makes it 10 of the 13 that started have scored a try. And Mason's try is number 13 for Tonga.
There it is, confirming that scoreline. The Tongans impressive, weren't they? 66 points to 18 over South Africa. Scorers for the Tongans: Esau Mann with a try, Vaikona with 4. What a performance. Leava with a try, Marcella Moala, Lomi Kafusi, and Dwayne Mann scoring 2. Mason also with a try. 5 goals there for Moala. Mason with a goal. Also Dwayne Mann handy with the boot, putting one over. South Africa, their point scorers, 3 tries only. 1 to Breitenbach, 1 to Barnard, 1 to Best. And goals 3 in total. 1 to O'Shea and Jamie Blohm with 2.
First, it will be the Maori anthem. God defend New Zealand. God defend New Zealand sung in Maori. And now, the much rehearsed Flower of Scotland.
Scots have been practicing the words. Or at least the collection of Australians and Englishmen have been practicing the words, because the Scottish lineup selected by coach Sean McRae contains 11 Aussies. Graham Mackay of Leeds has even played for the full Australian team. Lee Gilmore and Dale Lawton are both Great Britain internationals, and at scrum half there's the precocious talent of Richard Horne, only 18 and so impressive for Hull this past season. The Maori include 5 Super League players: Koalov, Hoppy, Namu, Nico, and on the bench Moana. 6 of these men have played for New Zealand, largely though a youthful team. 7 are 23 or under. And beneath the posts, the Maori players congregating, led by their captain Tawera Nico of Warrington, and they are about to perform their haka, which has been specially choreographed for this occasion by the team's cultural tutor Tutu Ormsby, who's travelling with the squad as an integral part. Originally this was supposed to be a celebration of victory. They will perform it again after the match if they win. Right, Joe Lydon, stop trembling with fear and tell us who's going to win.
I'm predicting that the Maoris will just about overcome Scotland. You can forget about, dispel from your mind where the Scottish players are born. There'll be a lot of passion in this match, but I just feel that the Maori have the edge on this one. A lot of experienced players in that side. They're one of them on screen. Tawera Nico.
And the referee, Stuart Cummings.
Okay, fellas, stay behind
vastly
now.
experienced. He controlled the last World Cup final 5 years ago between England and Australia.
Okay.
Scotland to kick off through Graham Mackay. And neither of these sides with any World Cup form to go on. Safe to say that the Maori have been together for 2.5 weeks, first in Auckland preparing for this tournament. Scotland came together first in the more humble surroundings of Leeds and moved up to Edinburgh at the beginning of the week.
These are the exchanges that I anticipated before the match. The big collisions between the forwards, both trying to establish themselves and get a platform on which to work both sets of exciting back.
Play restarts with Perenara. And now here's Te-Rangi. Koalov straightening. Into 2 tacklers.
Yeah, we've seen it so often in the Super League competition. Leading try scorer last year.
Torpy!
Well, a try. Slack defence from the marker situation, and that's the first try of the match. Torpy, the fullback we talked about. Quick thinking, picked up after Toi Koilova made the initial break. It was good defence from Scotland to hold him out, but slack marker play. And Clinton Torpy, the fullback, the youngster, 20-year-old, seizing the chance of the first try for the Maori. Off the line and shutting the space down, and when they do arrive this, and they drop the load, they put a big hit in. Scotland going a little bit sideways. It's up to Hall to step and go straight. Can't find the support. There's Penny.
And Penny feinted to pass, created the gap and sped through it for Scotland's first try to level the scores at 4 points each.
And that's good work from Scotland, because they were being pushed backwards. There seemed very little options for them because of the defence they faced. Eventually Richard Hall took it upon himself to attack the defensive line of the Maori, and in support, eventually Lee Penny collects the ball with a gap in front of him to score the try.
Experience from the earlier portion of his career. And that puts Scotland in front.
Well, I thought Richard Hall might take the kicks. Are pressing the Maori and they're looking for another try.
Rohihi to within 1.5 meters of the line. It's been a tight game, so another score for the Maori might be enough, and there is Torpy for his second try.
We were tipped off, it was one to watch. It was again a well-worked try by the Maori. The ball back inside this time. Kidwell involved, Moana involved, the pass from Moana to Torpy. And the Maori extend their lead, his second try on the debut. That was Penny's try, remember, that was caused by Horn running out. There no Vowles with a chance.
Wayne McDonald and now David Maiden, and he's in! This'll put some interest back in the contest. A try for David Maiden of Scotland, his first in International Rugby League on the occasion of his third cap, and Scotland are back in it.
Well, Maiden, the whole player, formerly with the Queensland Crushers, made his debut for Scotland in '99. There was seen very little on when he got the ball. Defence just seemed to drop off by the Maori, and he gave him a chance. But I would go back to Richard Horn making that half break. Vowles again involved in this one, putting the pass out there, but the half tackle, nothing in front of him, apart from the referee, when David Maiden received it, and he scores, brings Scotland back in this competition.
Oh, penalties. Here's Daniel Heckenberg. Young St George Illawarra prop forward. Russell at dummy half, a growing level of vocal support for the Scots with Adrian Vowles.
Great ball
and Jeff Bell. Wonderful pass from Vowles.
Just a defence splitting pass from Vowles. We said he was going to be influential. Nico for the Maori and Vowles for Scotland, and that was a try-scoring pass. An assist in many sports. He would be given a point for that one. Bell, all he had to do was select it and hit the gap which he targeted.
Damian Johnson.
Yes, substitutions could be crucial as we enter the final stages of this game. 12 changes from the bench allowed on each side. The Maori have 3 left, Scotland 5. It could be crucial.
They sent for the 1 point, they got to the middle of the field.
And it is Gene Namu lofting the ball. And Stuart Cummings turns away and raises his arm to signal that Namu is successful.
Stuart Cummings, the referee, took his time in signalling that one, just checking with the linesman to make sure that it was. His touch judges that it was the 1 point. Namu had set himself, it was called by Nico, the full team knew what was on. He got to his favourite side for the right footer. 1 point separates the two sides. Well struck by Namu.
We saw a situation in one of the playoff games where St Helens managed to conjure a try as the hooter was sounding from a similar position to this, but that happens once every 10 years or so, or once every 20 years, but not today. And the Maori have marked their first ever appearance in a match in a World Cup by winning by a solitary point. The drop goal by Gene Namu, separating these two gallant sides. And amidst the driving rain and the wind of Firhill, there has been a contest of heartwarming intensity, but it's gone the way of the Maori.
It was always going to be a battle. We said right at the start that it would be hard to separate the two. Both come here with no real form to judge them by, but they knew tough defences would be on offer, and that's exactly what we got, with some great skill as well. The Maori dominated that second half, opening period of the second half, scored 2 quick tries which just set them up, and all Scotland came back. The 1 point drop goal from Namu just seals it.
2000s, but it would be a major surprise if Wales don't make it 2 out of 4 here. The Cook Islanders won the Emerging Nations World Cup 5 years ago. Now they make their full World Cup debut at rain-soaked Wrexham. And Sullivan, Iestyn Harris is the captain, and Lee Briers is the halfback. And the forwards, Anthony Farrell, Kieran Cunningham, David Whittle, Justin Morgan, Mick Jenkins and Dean Busby. And the substitutes are Ian Watson, Wes Davis, Paul Heighton and Gareth Carvell. And the coach, as I say, is Clive Griffiths. This team 48.28 winners against South Africa in a warm-up in Pretoria last week. This is the Cook Islanders team. Piakura is the fullback, Tongia, Berryman, Iro and Timata, Bowen and Joe. Tuakura, Clark and Timu in the front, Kuru and Pau in the second row, and Samuel is the loose forward. And the bench, Anderson, Lewis, Glassy and Cook. And Stan Martin is the coach of the Cook Island, respected in New Zealand coaching circles, will be remembered in Cumbria. He was Whitehaven's coach for 3 years. Paul Cullen, of course, is now in charge up there at Whitehaven. And out they come, the Cook Islanders. Well, as you could tell from those pictures, the Cook Islanders are a very, very proud nation indeed. Thierry Alibert, he's the man in control, the man in the middle. And by the looks of things, the Cook Islanders are going to give a traditional welcome to their opposition here tonight. Lining up for the traditional haka, and here they go. Well, now maybe we'll let battle commence. They're ready for it. There's no doubt about that. It's absolutely appalling. But we're just about ready, and off we go. Shrill blast from Thierry Alibert's whistle, and first touch for Justin Morgan. Justin Morgan of Canberra Raiders, and a great chase on the kick-off as well from the Cook Islanders, led there by Steve Berryman.
Bit high
first
from Timu.
Penalty goes to the Welshman.
Oh, he really walloped him then. Timu went at him.
Here is Cunningham again, spins it to Breers, a little dance for Breers. Oh, fantastic try. Lee Breers, terrific try for the Welsh. On the World Cup website today, they're supposed to come from about 6 villages, these Cook Islanders. But a lot of them, as we say, play in the NRL in Australia. They play in the bush, and they also, of course, well, one of them anyway, plays in Super League. And a couple have also been seen knocking around places like Oldham in the past.
On the web, I am impressed.
Oh, hey, I managed to get onto it as well.
Dot, dot, dot.
Good hands, this is what the Cook Islanders are famous for. And there's a chance here, they're in. That's a great try, and I think that's Tamata who has scored it, the winger. Good try, says the referee, and he's absolutely spot on. Stan Martin off his chair on the touchline. Well, they can fling the ball around with gay abandon when they want, these Pacific Islanders. And Tamata has come up with the 4.
This was a great try, and I'm afraid that the defensive system of the Welsh side just fell apart. Jason Critchley came out of the one line of defence. You can see him there, that was number 4. And Iro, he's enough confidence and experience to make sure that his winger got into the corner, and he did just that. That was a wonderful try, well worked indeed.
So Carl Tamata and a wonderfully named club, Hibiscus Coast Raiders in New Zealand. This shot at goal, very difficult it is too, but it's from the touchline, it's on its way. Oh, he's got 2 points. Payakura gets the Cook Islands level here at the racecourse ground in Wrexham. Grand final when he was running almost on one leg with a hamstring injury. And he did same again there, this time though on 2 legs. Good space here for them to exploit. This is Tassel, early try, just what Dr. Griffiths ordered. Chris Tassel gets the try, just what they wanted. Cunningham to Harris, Harris spinning away, releasing the pass and getting the try is Mick Jenkins. Referee just checking with the touch judges. It's all right, he says. Points the spot, and Mick Jenkins gets the try. It was good work from Harris. A good spin and twist in the tackle, and as he fell, he released it. And it was really good support from Mick Jenkins. A man, by the way, who could be without a club in Super League next year. Hull have had to reduce their overseas quota, and so Jenkins is available.
And he's a damn fine player too. Harris through the dummy, spun away. I know he's playing second row, but he really is a top quality hooker. Good spin there. They mentioned the fact that Cook Islands now beginning to tire somewhat. That was a wonderful effort.
More defence needed here, but Busby, I think. Is it Busby? No, it's not. Busby's running in. It's Cunningham. He's gone for the screen, though, has the referee. He must be looking for the grounding. Jenkins is the dummy half. Here is Harris, and wide is Breers. And further wide, and onto it is Tassel. And here is Sullivan, and there is Tassel. And there is another Welsh try. And it is a record-breaking score in the World Cup for the Welsh now. Beautiful hands from the Welsh. Second try for Tassel.
Just how difficult has it been out there?
Oh, yeah, look at the rain. You know, it's been raining for the past 10 years, hasn't it, in Wales? You know, it's been raining a lot, and you know, I've been looking out the window in the hotel all day, and it's done nothing but rain. Come down to here, and there's 2 inches under rain on the side, and you know, it's really tough out there.
Oh, that's wonderful play from Breers. Here's the hat-trick for Tassel. Chris Tassel gets the hat-trick. Lee Breers, he shaped to kick a 40-20. The Cook Island defence held back, and he flicked the ball over the top of them and then chased it all the way. And Tassel, he gets the hat-trick. Famous night for Chris Tassel, famous night for Wales, record-breaking night here in Wrexham. And the pass away.
Good work by Anderson as well on that short side, straight from the base of the scrum.
They will end this match with the possession. We have just 10 seconds remaining. Wales hunting. The ball off the deck, and they have it back, and it's whistle. And it's play on. No, it isn't. The referee will bring it back for the knock-on. They're chasing after it. Ian Watson thinks he's got the chance of a try, but the referee brings the match to an end with a shrill blast of his whistle. A record-breaking night. Wales's best ever World Cup victory. Tassel with the hat-trick. Harris with 7 goals out of 7. They're the 2 names that will claim the headlines, I'm sure, in the morning. And the drenched crowd who all have the Welsh flag in their possession, will go home very happy tonight.
Here's the New Zealand outfit for you. In the halves, Smith and Tuabaiaba. The forward pack, Kakasa, Robert, Vakatawa, Tamani Mariawa and Vunivalu at the back of the scrum. The substitutes, Tokarai, Lazagubai, Tigawaya and Vuniyawa. The coach, Don Ferner. The Russian squad looks like this. Ilyasov at fullback, the backline, Mitrofanov, Donovan, Kigler, Ramanov. In the halves, Ola and Gavrilin. The forward pack, Rubini, and Rubin up front is captain, with Robert Campbell in the front row, Lysenkov at hooker, Sokolov and Finlay in the second row, and Rulis at the back of the scrum. The substitutes for Russia, Kalashkin, Necheve, Litshov and Postinov, coached by Klebanov. Well, they also did their rain dance, the Fijians. Let's have a look now at that, and your commentator will be Rod Studd.
This is the first time Fiji have had the ball inside Russian territory. Let's see what they can make of it. Savatabua. Fred Robart at hooker. Expect to see plenty of him dictating the play. Now just outside the 20-metre area. Here's Robart again. He's got a couple of options outside, and one of them is Savatabua, who's broken free from a couple of challenges. Savatabua goes down just a couple of yards short. Robart again. Are we about to see the first score of the game underneath the sticks? And we are. And no surprise is the man who's got it. Lote Tuqiri, the Fijian captain, the Brisbane Broncos star. It would have been short odds against him opening the scoring, the man who opened the scoring in the grand final down under, and Fiji have the lead. Mariawa, and now Vasali Savatabua involved once more. There's Tuqiri coming into the line, very much the danger man. Somehow manages to get the ball away in the tackle. Did well to Vatakawa. And the Fijians throwing the ball around. And when it does work, it looks very pretty. When it doesn't, there's danger at the other end. Ilyasov is going on a gallop down the touchline. Are Russia about to score their first World Cup points? I think they are. No, desperate tackle. Dragged into touch, and Ilyasov was within, what, a metre of scoring the first try for the Bears in a World Cup. Fiji with a narrow lead, but Russia, who lost 82-0 to France in June on a three-match tour, well, their tackling's been a lot better this time around. And so far, the line's only been crossed once. Pretty pleased with that, the Bears, you would think. Evgeny Klebanov, their coach. He'll be delighted. He won't be delighted with this, though, because Savatabua, can he dance his way over? They're going to score anyway. Coulda, dua. Savatabua probably could have scored himself, but he put it on a silver salver. And Coulda, dua said thank you very much, and Fiji have doubled their money. Vakatawa opting for a bit of muscle this time. Robart. Now there's the Guile, good little chip ahead, he was onside too. This could be Fiji's third try, some good running rugby, and Tuqiri's got his hands on the football again, and he's galloping away, the Brisbane Broncos star. Great try by Fiji. Tuqiri, 16 tries for Brisbane in the NRL, just one behind Wendell Saylor, and shows his pedigree again. Rubin charging through tackles. Has he got on when he's outside? It's knocked down. Was that by a Fijian hand? It was, and Russell Smith is happy to let play continue. Here they come again, the Russians. It's amazing they haven't scored in this first half. They've had so many opportunities. Gavrilin going to the short side to Craig Seigler. Again so close to within, what, a foot of the line. Ilyasov trying to burrow his way over. Is Russell Smith going to give the try? He's looking. The try's awarded. Piece of history made. Russia scored their first World Cup try. Robert Ilyasov, the man to do it. 16-6 in front, 3 tries to 1. Kaka takes it even closer to the Bears line. Let's talk about Fijians being thrown out of the tournament. The Australians are certainly a few rumours about that they were going to ask for that due to the political upheaval in Fiji. But here they are. entertaining the fans at Craven Park. Vuniyawa, the man who was tackled high for the penalty that's led to this situation. Robart. And now Takiri. Ball that was a little low, but still picked up neatly. And Vunivalu, the vice-captain, the captain to the vice-captain. And Fiji have their 4th try. Ilyasov half away again. This could be a second Russian try. Substitute forward. Postnikov has done enough to win his side a penalty. Taken short. Nechev. Viktor Nechev going close again. They've had so many chances, the Russians. 6 points doesn't really fairly reflect the effort they've put in. Alari again. And now Seigler spinning it wide. Rubin gets the ball away and they've scored again. Ian Rubin put it on a plate for Joel Rullis. The 2 Australians combined and they've scored again, the Russians. Tabua Kakakaka. Robart at dummy half. The tackling's just as robust from Russia as it's been all afternoon. Vuniyawa feeling the full force of it there. Vunivalu. Is he in? Russell Smith wants to check with his in-goal judge and his touch judge. I think he might have squeezed in the corner, and he has. Second try for Vunivalu. And effectively the one that ends the game as a contest, surely. Takiri hoists the high bomb. Fullback's dropped in, it's a try, it's a hat-trick. It's a hat-trick for Vunivalu. Atanaisa Vunivalu gets a hat-trick for Fiji. Still with the appetite for work, the Russians, but this time they've over-elaborated and it's cost them 6 points. Vasari Savatabur is the man with the big smile. The first Fijian ever to play at Wembley. A winner with Sheffield in '98 and a try scorer here for Fiji in the World Cup. There's been another part of the Russian Rugby League's learning process here at Craven Park. They've been beaten but far from disgraced. A hat-trick of tries for the Fijian loose forward Atanaisa Vunivalu, and 2 for Lotta Takiri of the Brisbane Broncos. 18 points for the man of the match. But Russia have made their own little bit of history. They've played their first World Cup game. They've scored their first points in their first try from Robert Ilyasov. And they certainly haven't been humiliated in losing to the Fijians by 38 points to 12.
Yes, quite impressive, the Fijians. 38 points to 12, confirming that result there, but the Russians certainly far from disgrace. 7 tries to 2, the Fijians in front. Clash from Carcassonne for France. We've got Bonquet, Garcia, Cassin, Dulac and Servant. Davici and Rinaldi are your halves. In the forward pack for France, Ashish, Wolf and Sands, Guisset and Talek in the second row, and Jompi at the back of the scrum. And substitutes for the French, Tuxedo, Carrasco, Saw and Despin, and coached by Gilles Dumas. The Tongan squad, Koloi at fullback, Moala, Vaikona, Fiziahi in the centres, Kafusi on the other wing. In the halves, Howlett and Hefo. The forward pack captain is Martin Masella with Talita Leovar in the front row, Isao Mann at hooker, Mason and Kite the second row, Dwayne Mann at loose forward. The substitutes, Paul Fiziahi, Manu, Alomi and Masella, and coached by Murray Hurst. France, of course, wearing blue, Toma predominantly red. Your commentator, Stuart Pike.
It's been a very, very scrappy opening 10 minutes. The drive forward this time by Leava. Trying to offload the ball, manages to do so for Mason, straightens up, knocks off one, knocks off another, brought down, 20 away from the French line. We're on the last. This is good break here by Tonga, and it could be the first try. Ball back inside, play on. All sorts of trouble there, but that looks like it could be a try for David Fisiari. And what will the referee give? He gives the 4. Jean-Marc Garcia for Bonke, guilty of missing 2 fairly simple penalties. That could be another penalty to the French. Second man in, it looked like it was Nelson Lomi, and it looks like he's going to get 10 minutes in the sin bin. The referee, Steve Clark, had warned them. This is a good break, straight from the scrum. Ronaldo, the scrum half, terrific effort there. He's still going, the referee weighs it on. Well, Julien Ronaldo, his first game, and there could be an overlap here for the French. Freddy Bonke goes for the corner, and France are back in this game in Carcassonne. And if France could get another score before half-time, they really will start believing that they can win this game. A drive forward by Sands. Ronaldo, that's a good long pass out for De Vichy. Is there an overlap on the far side? There is an overlap, and there could be another try, and France are in again. The winger, Claude Sévard, scores the try, and France extend their lead. The best field position that Tonga have had in this second half. Driving forward again, Nelson Lomi. Man looking to play the ball quickly. Goes the blind side route. Fisiahi stopped short of the line again. Man, will he go on his own? That could be a try in the corner, and Fisiahi has come up with a very, very important try. Inside ball looking for Ronaldo, but good pressure this from the French. De Vichy, Tuxedo does well. Bonke has space on the outside. Cassar, the centre goes on his own. What a superb try! Arnaud Dulac scores the try, and the smiles tell their own story, because that try could be enough to keep France in the World Cup. Another penalty given away by Nelson Lomi, and he could be in trouble here. He's already been sin-bin once in this game.
He's got the guy on the ground. He's kicked out with his legs. Trying to put that one on report. All right, you leave your leg right out of it. If I'd have seen you connect him clearly, you would have been the red card off. Okay, you get the leg right out.
France 16, Tonga 8, and it looks like it's going to go down to the last of the group games at the weekend, and the last one of all on Monday, when Tonga play Papua New Guinea, and Tonga may well have to win that one to stay in the competition, because the French play South Africa, and you'd expect they will beat them in their last game. Another mistake by Tonga. Well, I think that's it now. I think that really is game, set, and match to France. Good running. Cassar, great play, the ball out, great handling, a chance for Garcia, and Jean-Marc Garcia will win this game for France. What a fantastic try to finish off. The first ever international between France and Tonga, and here's Cassar. Cassar breaks clear, great play by Cassar, terrific tackle though by Paul Colloy. The substitute got across to bring Cassar down, but the French haven't finished. They want to finish with a flourish. Can they do that? On the blind side again, and they're going to get another try. Jean-Pierre gets the ball down. Smiles all round from Dumas, the coach. And Pascal Jean-Pierre gets another try for the French. And Freddie Bonquet, you wouldn't bet against him from the touchline, would you? You wouldn't bet against him. You wouldn't bet against him. What about that? Tears from the French coach, Gilles Dumas. Another 2 points. And it's 28 points to 8. And it's turned into a terrific French victory in Carcassonne. The final hooter goes. A terrific French performance. They've beaten Tonga by 28 points to 8.
Yes, they're back in the winner's circle, the French, after losing to Papua New Guinea at the weekend, and what a win it was. 28 points to 8 over Tonga for the French. Tries through Bonquet, Savant, Dulac, Garcia and Jean-Pierre. Bonquet with 4 goals for Tonga. Fiziali and also another Fiziali. I think they are actually twin brothers. There we are.
Russia, who made their but believe me, they were far from disgraced. And it looks as though that there are 1 or 2 Russian supporters inside at Nosey Road tonight to cheer their team on, complete with the nation's flag. Deacon at halfback. And the forwards, Stevenson, Rowley, Fleary, Peacock, Hay and Sinfield. And the substitutes, Long, Spruce, Howard, Fielden, and the coach is John Keir. Now the Russians, they have Ilyasov at full-back, Mitrovanov, Dumelkin, Zeigler and Romanov the 3-quarters, Olari and Gavrilin is the half-back. And the forwards, Ian Rubin, Lysenkov, Campbell, Sokolov, Findlay and Joel Rulis is at the back of the scrum. And the substitutes, Kalashkiny, Nechev, Zhiltsov and Postnikov, and the coach is Eugeny Klebanov. We have the formalities before the kick-off. First of all, the national anthems of the 2 nations. A great contingent of Russian supporters here at Nosey Road to watch this team. The coach, Klebanov, I wonder if he passed the information down from the sideline to kick for goal here. He's a left-footed kicker, is Igor Zhiltsov, achieving his ambition to play in this World Cup. And he's hooked it the wrong side of the posts. And he's disgusted with himself.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't the best effort. He seems to be able to smile. I don't think I would, wearing a hat like that, but...
I can see you in a hat like that, Steve. I think you would go well. Now what's Mr. Shrimpton given here? A penalty?
Offside at the kickoff.
At the kickoff. Well, surely, if they've taken one kick, they're going to surely take this, aren't they? They're going to have another shot at goal.
Well, they certainly were. In about 6 to select.
They have to stay behind the line till the ball is kicked.
Somewhat pedantic, I feel. We see that occur every game. But rules are rules, and sometimes they allowed it to be broken.
Mikhail Mitrovanov now with the goal-kicking responsibility, and he makes no mistake, and he gets a great cheer from the neutrals and also the partisan section of the crowd over there on the far side in the main stand. The Russians celebrating that penalty goal as if it was a try or the goal that won the World Cup itself.
We'll remember that for quite some time.
24 points to 2.
Mr. Mitrofanov, Mikhail, which they do tell me translates into my first name, Michael.
Just 15 seconds for the Russians to hold out to keep the scoreline as it is now at half-time. 24-2. Loose pass, Deacon though over the top. Sinfield gets another. Right on the stroke of half-time. Sinfield's second try.
He's going to go in for his first international try. But surely John Keir will have had a quiet word with all his charges or his try.
Long, and Price had to claim it on the floor and did do. And got over out wide. But Long has come on and has sparked England immediately. His kick-off.
Can we just have a look at that last pass, please, mate? Can't? Okay.
Well, Bill Shrimpton wanted to go for a forward pass. You can't do that, Bill.
Well, not in this part of the world, you can't. You can down under. Maybe that's where the confusion has arisen. The Russian defenders close in on him. Rowley, the dummy half. He gets it to Long. Long, then back it goes to Peacock. Peacock driving to the line. Great try.
Well, I'm not so sure they got it down.
That's good, mate. That's good.
The referee's convinced. No need to refer it to the video ref, he says. And Jamie Peacock, omitted from the side at Twickenham, the boom player of Super League 5, comes up with his first international try. Rowley's hacked it ahead. He's fed play on, Rowley, and Rowley comes up with the try, does he? Referee just has a little glance at his touch judge, and he's gone to the screen, and my immediate impression, or first impression should I say, was that there might have been a knock-on against England here. The Russian defence.
Good work from the prop forward Campbell.
Rowley, looping pass to Deacon, bullet pass to Wellens, and then it comes back to Deacon. It's a play on. They've lost ground, England though. Long flick pass. Peacock is able to pick up. Big holes opened up for Peacock. No trouble. Well, you said that England, second try for Peacock, you said that England should be scoring in every set of 6, and just now they are. Keir. Watching as Long goes on one of those typical runs of his. He's going to score. Long's going to shoot in. Saluting the crowd before he reached the line. Wonderful run from the base of the scrum from Sean Long. Something he did all the way through Super League 5. That's why he's the man of steel. That's why St Helens are league champions. Sean Long, the catalyst for St Helens, and who knows, maybe for England in this bid for the World Cup.
This is the reason why the English coach John Keir brought this man from the bench.
It'll be fascinating to see what his lineup is in the quarter-final.
Well, I think the combination, he wouldn't go far astray, would he, when you've got...
Penalty, England, Harvey Howard not playing the ball properly. Got to get to your feet, plonk the ball down, then play it, not do it from a horizontal position like that.
Well, they lost control, didn't he?
Having said that, the Russians
were all over him, yeah.
Are they going to kick for goal again? They are.
This guy, Harvey Howard, he certainly did a solid job against the Australians. And that is the big problem that England have at the moment, is that when Australia had the ball on Saturday, their forwards made at least 40, sometimes 50 metres upfield, so that when they came to the kicking game, they were putting England back in their own quarter. When we were trying to get the ball back, we very rarely reached the halfway line. So therefore, our kicks aren't as strong. It's a bit like chess these days.
Mitrovanov has added the penalty, 54-4. Well, they celebrate the penalty goal just like they would celebrate the match-winning try or kick. They ain't going to win this one. 54-4, that is for sure. England are already home and hosed, but it's a matter now of how many.
Ooh, that's a big hit. He doesn't miss him, Harvey Howard. And
Jiltsov just looked at the referee and said, am I going to get the penalty for that? But it was just a big hit.
That was a 6:45 into Moscow, wasn't it?
You're going to tell me next you've been on the 6:45 into Moscow, I suppose?
Actually, I missed it. It was a 7:15. I'm afraid my timing can be pretty poor at times. Let's not get silly, boys.
Chef Walker won't take a backward step, will he? He might be the baby of this England side. And he doesn't shirk anything, that's for sure. Of Russia, it is Jiltsov who's down. And a great kick, a high kick. Stuart Spruce is well underneath that. He's away. Stuart Spruce. He's taking them on out wide. Just waited. They're flooding in support. Spruce must pass. He does. Peacock. Peacock. Great tackle.
They've blown it. They'll score here, but
Lysenko with the challenge. Rowley, Stevenson. Doesn't matter as it turned out, but Spruce made the break. And Peacock just a little bit greedy, but it didn't matter in the end because Francis Stevenson gets over for the try in the end. Twickenham game, but he's played his part in this as a substitute. So is this fella. Long, skipping through, Deacon in support, underneath the sticks. That's 4, and it will soon become 6 more. Paul Deacon with the latest England try. Fox and the Samoans. Fascinating stuff. Andy Hay on the inside. Ball hacked forward, and Long's going to score another. The referee waved play on.
not too sure they want to knock on there.
Steve, I'm going to have a look at that, but I don't believe there was any hand on it from England. So it's a play on.
Well, the referee, Bill Shrimpton, believes there wasn't a hand on it from England, and he can't adjudicate on the forward pass, and it was dubious, this pass, to say the least.
Well, I think a hand got to it. Oh, definitely a hand.
Stevenson, Long, Deacon, he's gone over, has the standoff half, Kevin Sinfield, a hat-trick of tries for young Sinfield.
The top linchpin, should I say, for John Keir's side.
10 seconds to go, and England looking to finish with a flourish, but a great tackle on Keith Senior. And it's going to be Hay lads Hay for the last play of this match. High kick, hacked on. Referees pull them back for offside against England inside the 10.
Well, they'll just tap it, go down for the tackle, and then that will be it. Well done to the Russians. They've worked hard throughout.
Quick tap. And that is the last tackle on Kaleshkiny in this match. 14 tries for England. Sean Long kicking well in the second half. Paul Rowley's had a fine match. The English hooker. It's a record win for England in the World Cup. And indeed, a record win for England, full stop, overall. 76-4 betters the score of 73-6 against France at Gateshead in 1996. And Kevin Sinfield with the hat-trick. And